Now the Quest 2 has some freaking amazing games on it, but there is 10 that I particularly feel are the best bang for buck and the best that money can buy if you're looking just to spend a little bit of money and you want to get a lot out of what you spent on. These are the best valued games I can think of to purchase into, and I've tried to give you a bit of variety in this as well, so that no matter what genre of game you're looking for, you're going to find something on this list that's going to appeal to you and give you the bang for your buck. Kaboom. Now, of course, as a caveat before we dive into this list, this is my top 10 list. I will not get where your game is. If you have a game that you think is better than what I've produced in this list, then hey, pop it in the comments down below, share the wealth with other people. Don't just have a go at me because I didn't include your game. Just tell other people why it's dope, how much it costs, and then we can sort of spread the knowledge a little bit, you know? Now, diving right in off the top of this list, we have Resident Evil 4, the remake on the Quest. Man alive, this is just money well spent. Not only is it a freaking dope game, not only is it a fantastic representation of the Resident Evil games, it also is longevity. It's got a big old chunky story that you can dive into, as well as a mercenaries mode that you can get into for replayability. Also, going through this on the different difficulties really is a fun challenge, and if you enjoy this universe and you enjoy the Resident Evil games, then it's going to be just fun for you to be able to dive back into that universe and replay it on a harder difficulty. But if you're not into horror, well then maybe you'll like the next game. Phantom Covert Ops. This is by Endreams and honestly a fantastic example of feeling freaking badass non-stop throughout this entire game. Now in this you play a covert ops agent who goes through the world on a kayak. Honestly, just doing like the stealthiest, coolest things you can possibly imagine. It looks freaking amazing on the Quest platform as well. And honestly, this is just money well spent. If you want that Metal Gear Solid-esque feel to a game, you know, mixed in with a little bit of Splinter Cell, then this is going to be for you. And honestly, this is just money well spent. It's one that kind of gets overlooked a lot as well. I think it came out so early into the sort of lifespan of this, not a lot of people are aware of its existence. Definitely worth your time to check this out. There is a ton of content to do on there, and of course like some challenges and some other fun bits that you can get done as well. So money well spent, you're going to enjoy yourself. Definitely check this one out. But of course, if being a covert operation officer isn't your bag, well, how about being a superhero? Because next up is Iron Man VR. Now, this game is honestly one of my top VR games, let alone top Quest games. I played this back on the PSVR way back when, and then when it dropped on Quest 2, it felt like the marriage made in heaven, because honestly, this game complements being wireless so much so. And honestly, the developers of this did a fantastic job of giving you the feeling of embodying Iron Man. In this is a full story campaign, which you're going to be able to go through a whole unique arc for Tony Stark. Wow, that rhymed and I didn't mean it to. But either way, a unique arc for Tony Stark where you're going to go through and fight Ghost. Now, this honestly is just chef's kiss of a game. I absolutely love this. Flying around feels incredible, and somehow they handled it in a way which genuinely feels good. I think whether you're a new user or like a long-term user of VR, you're going to enjoy yourself in this, and it's just a freaking fun game. But hey, if being solo isn't what you're after, maybe you're looking for some multiplayer fun, maybe some time to shoot some Snowbreed, if you know what I mean. That's right, it's time to jump into After the Fall, and this, my friends, is a game that everybody should own. Not only is this cross-platform, so the lobbies tend to be always full, you're looking at being able to play with players on all other devices, enabling you to honestly have a very complete experience in this, which I love because it's one of the things that they miss when they do a multiplayer and lock it to a platform is, well, there's not always a lot of people online to play, but with this you open up to all the other platforms, giving you really lobbies to be able to jump into at any time. The cool thing about this is there is a ton of replayability. They've added so many levels to this now. Not only that, but you have like the PvP modes as well, where you can actually go in there and shoot up against each other. You've got just a lump of awesomeness to be able to get up to in there, as well as a very grindy game. So you can really get in there and grind out to get the best weapons, best skins, best attachments for your weapons, and of course doing those runs with your friends. Personally, I have I think about 140 hours in this game between my Quest build and the PC build, so take it from me firsthand, you definitively can get this going. Now, this really is one of those games that is heightened to the maximum if you can get a few of your good friends to come in with you, as it's just the best way to catch up with a bunch of friends and shoot some zombos and have just a freaking good time. Of course, if you're not looking for multiplayer fun and you just want to get into something that is just freaking dope, well, then Red Matter 2 is going to be there for you. God, I am rhyming all over this and I don't even mean to. Did I turn into Eminem last night? Jeez. Anyway, Red Matter 2 is a freaking amazing game, of course followed by Red Matter 1, both available on the Quest Store, and really these two lumped together as a unit of awesomeness that you should be playing. Now, the reason I put this on here is honestly it is visually stunning. It will make your eyes just go, wow, I've never seen it like this before, and genuinely give you that vibe of, am I playing on a Quest or a PC VR headset right now, because man alive, is that good looking. On top of that, this has an incredible story with honestly some really fun puzzles that go along with the whole thing. We're going to dive into Vader Immortal, and this series of games honestly is just money well spent, because it just, it's the closest we've really got to a solid Star Wars game. Now of course we have the Galaxy's Edge series, which is good in its own right, but I think the Vader Immortal kind of edges out just a little bit for me, just because you're dealing with just a really cool story, very unique experience, and just being able to chill with Vader, man, it's pretty freaking dope. Honestly, this game just really makes you feel like an actual Jedi. The feeling of this game, oh man, and the look of it, just freaking gorgeous. If you really want to dive into the Star Wars universe, I fully recommend this series of games. It's just incredible. On top of that, each of the chapters have their own little training rooms, which you get to go into with your lightsaber and actually train with droids and stuff, and honestly, it's freaking fire. I really adore these games. If you're new into VR, these are perfect for you as well, to get a good feel of what virtual reality is like. On top of that, it just will give you that nostalgia hit that you're looking for, and then on top of that, it's got some replayability. So it's a win-win-win situation. If we want to talk about IPs that you should be jumping into, the next one is going to be for you, and that, my friends, is The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 and 2. I'm going to bundle them both in together because honestly they are incredible games. If you're looking for a genuine open world exploration game where you're going to go in and destroy a bunch of zombies in the most creative and weird and wacky ways, this is going to be for you, man. Honestly, diving into the Walking Dead universe, and the beauty of this is it's not locked into any of the existing stories that already exist within the Walking Dead universe, which I appreciate for it, to be honest with you, because it means it stands on its own 2 feet. You're not just reliant on meeting Rick Grimes and doing some guff story alongside that. This is a story where you're making your own story. You're going as a tourist, and honestly you shape and divide how this is going to play out for you. Are you good or bad? Are you a saint or a sinner? These things really do matter in this game, and it does shape up how your experience is going to be, and that goes for both parts 1 and 2. Both of these look incredible on the Quest. They've done a fantastic job with these, and honestly, if you want something with that sort of like 60 to 70 hours worth of gameplay inside of each of those games, then money well spent, but a little bit spooky. Now, if Saints and Sinners isn't spooky enough for you, maybe you want to get a real chill up your spine, it's time to dive into The Radius. Now, this game is honestly, it's kind of one of my top games. I freaking love this. If I want a survival game to be able to jump into The Radius is the one. It has incredible mechanics leading through this. We're talking loading your magazines with your individual bullets, unjamming your gun. We're talking about going into places, hunting for the things that you need, doing missions. It's really freaking got it all. And on top of that, it has some of the best suspense horror in it that known to mankind. And if you're not into horror, don't worry, because honestly, although this is a very suspenseful game, I wouldn't class it as necessarily a horror, but it is super high suspense, and it will give you those chills up your spine, because honestly, it gets hairy up in there, you know what I'm saying? Also, this has probably the most genuine open world feel to it, which I just love. Exploration, very freaking nice. This is a game to get in your life. There are some genuine moments in this when I forget I'm in VR and I get completely immersed into this world, and it says a lot to really pull me that deep into a game. So get this one on your list. Now, of course, if you enjoy shooty, well then you are going to enjoy my next title that I present to you, and that is Contractors. Contractors is a freaking dope game. If you're into COD or any of those other types of games, this is that, but in VR, and it can genuinely be anything you want, as this game allows a ton of different mods to be able to be used in it within the game. So no side loading, no messing around. There is a mod menu directly inside of this where you can literally play COD, Halo, Star Wars Battlefront, whatever you freaking want, you can turn this game into it, and honestly, it is just top-notch quality. I love this game. Honestly, I've spent way too many hours in this playing with friends, and not even just that, but if you just want to dive in on your own and shoot some people and have a laugh with some peeps, then this is going to be for you. Contractors is a dope game with so much modability to it nowadays. It's just a no-brainer. If you're looking for that type of game, this is the one for you. Of course, if you're looking to kick back, you don't necessarily want to shoot anyone, maybe want to chill out and do a bit of a climb. Well, that's good, because our next and last games are the Climb 1 and 2. I'm going to bundle these bad boys in together as well, because both of these are visually stunning games that honestly give you such a vibe. Listen, if you're having a stressful day, this is one to jump into and relax to. Not only does it get you moving around a little bit, you know, nothing too physical, but moving around a little bit, it also gets to that relaxation part of your mind and really chills you the heck out. Now, replayability of these, there is just infinite replayability, honestly, because you can go through all the different difficulties, and even going through the same thing, doing the exact same difficulty feels kind of different, as you can take a slightly different route to where you're going, and that really lends itself to be one of those games that just kind of gives you like an endless experience with this. Honestly, the environments in this are just freaking stunning. From 1 and 2 are both just incredible experiences that I just recommend to everyone, especially if you're new into VR. This is going to be just such an experience, and if you're a veteran, honestly, get this just to go and chill out in. Honestly, that is it for this list today, man. I have really enjoyed putting this list together because it's reminding me of some games that I definitively need to jump back into myself. On top of that, like, if you're just looking to be able to spend a small amount of money on just one of these titles, this will give you that bang for buck, sort of actually worth your money kind of thing.